to give you a little insight into what actually happens when you order a test. So Fernando types in his description and selects the devices that he wants, and then what actually happens. Well, the first thing that happens is we find a team leader for that test. And the team leader has a couple of important functions right away. First of all, validating that test environment to make sure that what is there can actually be tested. And then secondly, validating or even improving the test instructions. So when you have a guy like Fernando, who's an old pro at how to manage the crowd, he writes very good and clear instructions, but sometimes we'll get tests where the instructions need to be modified in order to be useful for the crowd. So the team leader helps with that even before reviewing any of the bugs. The second thing that we do is we identify a pool of testers, and it's a sort of common misconception that, okay, there's 40,000 testers in the crowd, that means 40,000 people are going to be beating on my app. Oh my goodness. And that's actually not how it works. What we try to do with the assignment algorithm is we try to find the right mix of people for each test. And that's some combination of what devices do they have, because different tests have different coverage requirements. What languages do they speak and read, I guess more importantly, and how experienced are they, not just as testers, but with your app. So in the case of Fernando and the apps that You.i TV develops, they're very consumer oriented. And Fernando has already identified that having people who are too familiar with their apps actually can be a negative indicator. There are some apps that are perhaps more complicated where prior familiarity with the app is actually more of a positive indicator. So we try to do what we can to, I guess, sculpt the crowd into the right group of people, right segment of people for any given test. Then the test executes. And what's really important is that we try to get the right bugs to you as part of that test. So one thing that I often say to a new customer is the easiest thing that we could possibly do is just take anything that looks like it might be a bug and throw it at you. And we don't want to do that. We actually want to scope down the number of bugs that we present because there's a lot of things that come back that are marginal. There's a lot of things that come back that maybe you wouldn't care about. There's a lot of things that might be hard to reproduce, or even Heisenbugs that are not reproducible at all, or there's all kinds of things that can happen. So what we try to do is implement some combination of sort of human quality control, machine quality control, and then reproduction of the bugs. And then finally, there's actually a team leader who validates all of those bugs before you get your results. And so what we give you is the best possible understanding that we have of what you would want.